Hello guys, Kevin with Cruise Speed here. Today we're going to be building a windshield washer fluid reservoir. I know that sounds kind of silly, but I just kind of like to make stuff. So we got all the parts here to start. This is a stock windshield washer fluid pump. The level sensor, I think I'm actually going to ditch that since the light is not on the dash anymore. A little nipple here that's going to get welded to the reservoir, and a cap here. The reason is because the intercooler routing goes right down and through where the stock reservoir sat, kind of sat down in that little gully area. I'm going to build a tank that fits right up in here where the original, I think there was like a coolant overflow reservoir here. So I'm going to relocate that and build a reservoir for that over here. I'm going to just use a little round cylinder and hopefully be able to use these bolts on the radiator that I got. So with that, I think we're going to get started cutting some aluminum out. We're just going to build like a simple square box and weld it all up. Alright, so we got all the pieces cut out to make the rectangular box for the reservoir. We'll get them all tacked up and smoothed out and weld it all together. Alright, so we got most of the box put together or tacked together. I did make one mistake. I meant to have this little scratch part facing the inside, but I'll just put that to the back where you can't see it. I did not, I need to cut a hole for this because this needs to go on there so you can fill the reservoir. And then I will have to cut a hole down here or over here, whichever place the windshield wiper pump motor fits in there. So I'm gonna cut the hole out for this next so we can weld the whole box together. So we got the hole all drilled out with the hole saw, drill press, worked pretty well. And next we'll weld it to that box over there and then weld the reservoir cap to that. Alright, so there we have it. The box is tacked together. I'm just gonna bring it over to that and see how it fits and make sure it fits in there, and then we'll fully weld it. Alright, so here it is all sitting in there. I'll have to build some brackets to attach it to some things. I'm thinking that big bolt there, then maybe that intercooler bolt down there to suspend it. And I just threw the header panel on to make sure that it cleared that, and that's going to be all fine. I'd actually like to bring it up a bit so it pops through. I might make a cooling plate for the radiator or whatever in the future, so it'd be nice if the cap was above that. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Alright, so we have the reservoir bolted in here. I made the little brackets. Fits pretty snug. I did full weld it since everything was looking good. It's a little tight right here, as you can see. It's pretty close to the bumper support, so I might stick a little piece of rubber in there just in case it comes loose and vibrates. Don't want it rubbing through nothing. So next we have to pop the hole for the little nipple that goes to the water, the little windshield washer fluid pump, and weld that in. Alright, so here's the completed reservoir. I got my brackets all welded on, and the nipple is welded on, and there's your pump. I was planning to use that as a bracket, but again, hose just doesn't bend like I want it to sometimes, so I just kind of have like a little coupling that I made. We're going to leave the sensor there. I think I'll just zip tie it to something for now till I rehook a light up for that. Maybe I'll put one in my dash in the future. So I'll bolt that in and get that all squared away. I might send it out to powder coat to get blacked out. Next is making the coolant reservoir. I'm gonna work on that tomorrow. So it's the next day. Today we're gonna be working on the coolant overflow tank. I got all my pieces ready. This came from the old brake reservoir that I made that I mentioned in the brake reservoir video. I stole that. Now this thing's just basically a glorified ashtray. I managed to find some 1/2-inch tubing at Menards, aluminum, so that's awesome because I didn't think they'd have any. I just cut this piece out of some of my sheet that I have. It'll go here, and then this pipe will actually go inside of here and get welded. So when the coolant overflow maybe becomes pressurized, it vents off. And if it overflows, it comes out this pipe. So we'll get started by welding this together, and then I'll have to clean this powder coat off the fitting here for the cap, and we'll have to weld it all together. Drill out our bung, weld that in. Then of course we got a little brass barb fitting for the hose. So, all right, let's get started. Alright, so I cut this piece a little small. My hole saw wasn't exactly to the inside diameter of this pipe, but what I did is it was close enough where I took a 3-inch C-clamp and just kind of clamped the outside of the pipe so it squeezes it and holds it in place. So we'll tack it up, take the clamp off, and do a full weld. Here we have the bottom of the reservoir all welded on with the overflow pipe welded into that. I've trimmed down this old piece and cleaned off some of the powder coat. Next it's time to weld the cap on. The top is all welded up. Next it's time to weld in the NPT bung for the inlet. Alright, so here we have the coolant overflow tank all finished up. You can have, here's the drain, there's the inlet, and of course the reservoir cap just to check it out. And I made this little L-shaped bracket, or zigzaggy bracket, to mount onto this radiator we got here. And then it'll just bolt onto there using that little bolt hole. I think that was meant for the shroud for this. This is a CX Racing radiator. So yeah, it should work out nicely. Kind of clean looking. I mean, it's not the, it doesn't obviously look factory built or nothing, but it was way cheaper than buying one. So whenever I can make something, I always like making something. So I guess what's going to happen is I'm going to sandblast this. As you can see, there's some old powder coat left on it. We'll powder coat this as well, and then we'll get it back and finish up the video. Alright, so we got our reservoirs back from powder coat. Again, DTM and Hawks powder coating did a great job. Turned out very nice. Here you can see I got the pump all hooked up to the windshield washer fluid reservoir. Since it's moved, I had to extend the harness a little bit. So I also removed the sensor. It just unplugged out of this connector here, so it was really easy to remove, and I had to extend it anyway, so I removed it to make it look cleaner. So next we'll get it all installed in this beast, and we'll test to see if we got windshield washer fluid. So the reservoir is all installed in here. It's plumbed up and hooked to the electrical. So next we'll fill it up with some fluid. I'm guessing it holds about half a gallon, so we'll see how much it holds. I'm kind of curious, and we'll test it out. So I'd say it holds about 2/3 of a gallon, so that's pretty sweet. A little more than what I thought, so we'll be able to wash the bugs off our windows for a little bit longer. So kind of funny, but I just tested it and it didn't go out on the passenger side. Remember to hook your hose up. Kind of a blooper, but yeah, once we do that, it should be fixed, hopefully. Alright, so we got the coolant overflow reservoir all put in, just one bolt holding it in to the radiator and one hose going to it. So that looks pretty good. I'll have to get rid of my old monster can that I was using. The windshield washer reservoir works pretty slick. Had one little issue. The wiper blades, I don't know if you've seen in the little last clip, but they were hitting the part right here. They must have been out of time, so I just took them off, put them back on again. And they seem to be working fine. Also, I installed Motocam's hood prop kit thing. That works really slick. For years, I have not had a proper hood prop for this thing, and these are very nice for working on your car because you don't have to worry about it being in the way. And it looks pretty slick too. So, one thing is I got a fiberglass hood, so you got to be really careful about putting it down. So maybe someday I'll order some gas shocks off McMaster car that are a little bit lighter duty. Something else. I stumbled across a set of other rims. So these are SHPs. So my plan is to run 9s on all corners of the car, but these are gonna require some cleaning up. These were painted. So I'm gonna strip that, polish it. I'll probably make a video of that, just showing you how I do it. But that'll probably be a winter project. So, I know this video is kind of long, but I thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and you guys take care and have a great day.